Have you started carnivore and you're thinking about quitting? Are you considering carnivore? If you're at a carnivore crossroad, this video is going to help you. What I'm about to tell you, you can't unhear. You can't unring this bell. I am so sick and tired of being sick. How many people do you know that have died young? How many people have you lost to heart disease? How many people can you think of that you've lost to cancer? Now ask yourself this. What were they eating? Were they eating the proper human diet like me? No, nobody was doing that. They were eating like you're eating. So all these people that are like, I'm so scared to start carnivore. You're eating the junk food that all your loved ones you know that you've lost at a young age, they were eating just like you. They weren't eating a proper human diet. They weren't eating natural ingredients. They died at a young age and they were eating like you were eating. So why are you so scared of what I'm doing? Beep. Carrie here. Are you at a carnivore crossroads? Have you started carnivore and you're thinking about quitting? Are you considering carnivore, or as I like to call it, the proper human diet? Stealing from my hero, Dr. Ken Berry. If you're at a carnivore crossroad, this video is going to help you, and we're going to do it in one take. There's none of this editing stuff because we're carnivores. We've got proper brain power. We don't need to stop and edit or find our words. We just go with this subconscious flow through these beautiful woods. Look at this. It is absolutely gorgeous out right now. If you're at a carnivore crossroads, this video is going to help you. I am not at a carnivore crossroads. I have a very, very powerful reason why I will continue with the proper human diet for the remainder of my life on this earth. But if you're at this crossroads, I'm going to help you right now. Number one, whether or not you're thinking about doing carnivore for the first time, or you've already been doing it, but you're like, I don't know if I can keep going. I want to quit. I'm not sure. You may be scared of doing carnivore forever, whether you've done it or not. You may be scared of, is it sustainable? This sounds crazy. This goes against everything I've ever been told in my entire life. So your reason for being at this crossroads is fear. And what I'm going to tell you right now is you should be terrified, absolutely terrified of whatever you've done to get you to this point that you're even considered doing the carnivore diet. Everyone's so scared of, what about cholesterol? What about fiber? What about all these foolish things that have already been asked and answered over and over again? You should be terrified of having poor metabolic health and chronic inflammation. That is one of my whys for continuing this. I'm down to my goal weight. I'm down 100 pounds since my heaviest. And that is recorded from a doctor's appointment. It's in my paperwork. I was 262 at my heaviest. I don't have depression or anxiety anymore. I don't have IBS. I was farting 500 times a day. I don't have sleep apnea. I no longer need a CPAP machine. I'm a proper human diet, and I feel amazing and incredible. And I feel sorry for the majority of the world that's never going to feel as good as I feel every single day now, going on almost a year. When I decided to start this, and I was at the Carnivore Crossroads, I told myself this, and I'm hoping this will help you guys out if you're thinking about it. I can do anything for 30 days. I am so sick and tired of being sick. Any sort of relief I can have. I didn't look at it and approach this from the perspective of, I'm going to just eat meat for 30 days. I couldn't wrap my brain around it. I get it how you can't wrap your brain around that. That's insane. I'm going to just eat meat for 30 days. So instead I told myself, I am going to eliminate all of this garbage. Everyone can get behind that. I'm going to eliminate sugars and seed oils and this processed crap food. You read the little ingredients on the box and you don't know what half of them are. You can't even pronounce them, but you're putting them in your body. Who couldn't agree with, let's just eliminate all this stuff for 30 days. We're going to do an elimination diet. You're not doing a carnivore diet. You're not doing a proper human diet. You're going to do an elimination diet for 30 days. That's how I convinced myself to start. So if you're at the beginning and you're at the crossroads and you don't know what to do, you should be terrified of poor metabolic health and inflammation. That is what causes all of these diseases and sicknesses. And if you're already doing carnivore and you're hemming and hawing and like, I don't know if I can keep going. I get so many comments like that. I can't understand why, because we all have our own perspectives. I was so hopelessly, suicidally depressed for all of my adult life. I was a shell of a human being. I'm not going to touch anything that could possibly take me back to that place of pure misery. And not even for me, for my children that had to go through that and see their dad and their father hopelessly depressed and in pain all the time, and aches and pains and ailments and issues, and can't get up out of bed, and brain fog and fatigue, and can't find his words. That's the most powerful why in the world for me. I look at it like I was an alcoholic my entire life. I wasn't an alcoholic. This is an analogy. I look at it like I was a horrible alcoholic my entire life. I stopped. My life turned around. It's a million times better. Why would I ever be like, let's just have a little beer now? I've been doing good for a couple of months now. Let's just have a little beer. No, the beer destroyed my life. It did nothing for me. Why would I go back to that? So I guess there's two types of Carnivore Crossroads. You're just getting started or thinking about it. You don't know what to do. Again, you should be scared of whatever you did that got you to this point. You should have a powerful why that you're doing this. And in both instances, whether you're starting out or you're already doing it and you're not sure, should I continue? What I'm about to tell you, you can't unhear. You can't unring this bell. So maybe turn it off. Otherwise, I'm sorry. Maybe it'll save your life. Maybe it'll help you down in the future. But this is my other reason why. This is my carnivore epiphany. Doing this documentary, Healing Humanity, the power of a proper human diet. One of the things I've learned, so blessed, thankful, grateful, blessed, talking to all of these amazing doctors and experts that are so passionate about their different specialties. Everybody is starting this because they're sick of being sick or because they have their own individual why. I did it for mental health, depression, anxiety, but you may be doing it for type 2 diabetes. You may be doing it for fertility issues. You're trying to start a family. You may be doing it because you were just diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. You may be doing it because you're hundreds of pounds overweight. My point, it doesn't matter, because you fix one of those things, my mental health and depression, it fixes everything else. And it's not just that it fixes everything else, it prevents you from getting those other things that inevitably, I believe, all humans are going to get that continue to eat the standard American diet. Everything that's wrong in this world, everything is an escape from natural for humans. We've escaped so far from what is natural. So beautiful back here. This is natural. We need to return to what's natural. Go for a walk in the park, breathe some fresh air, and eat proper natural foods that humans were intended to eat. We were never intended to eat all of this garbage. And so my point, and the bell that you ring once and you can't unring it, you can't unhear this, is I really truly believe with every fiber in my body, cancers, Alzheimer's, dementia, these are all diseases of nutrition. Professor Seifried has been working on this for 30 years. Cancer as a metabolic disease. If I'm at a Carnivore Crossroads, I'm like, maybe I'll just go back to eating the junk food and ice cream because it's just so good. Then in my mind, and for myself, and the bell that I can't unring, is I am choosing to get cancer at a young age. I am choosing to have horrible issues with aging. I am choosing that dementia and Alzheimer's are all fine, because I truly believe those are caused from chronic inflammation from decades and decades of eating the wrong food we weren't intended to eat. And I'm not willing to make that choice. I really believe that with every fiber in my body. If I go back to eating the way I did before, of course I'm going to end up with cancer. And when I do, knowing what I know now, I tell my family members this. It's ruthless, whatever, what you say what it is. But and people hear that. And some of them, I think, even believe it and understand it. Yeah, I might get cancer. Yeah, I might die younger. But I just love my ice cream and my cake and my junk food so much that I can't do it. And you know what that is? They're not willing to admit it, but what is that? That is a drug addiction. If you are choosing the crossroads, either eating the proper human diet or continuing the standard American diet, leave me a comment down below and explain to me how the standard American diet is not a drug addiction. You are literally saying, I get so much pleasure from my food. I get this high from my food. And life is not worth living. There's no joy in life for me if I don't have that pleasure. Life's just too short. I want to enjoy my ice cream and my cake and all this junk food. It's the same thing as saying, I'm basically addicted to this food, this temporary mouth pleasure that gives me a high that I need to get a high again later and a high again later and a high again later. How is that no different than being addicted to a drug? It is literally the exact same thing. The only difference is we've normalized sugar and we give it to children from a young age, and everyone's just like, oh no, that's just fine. We have this cultural norm of absolute insanity that those things are just fine, and it's okay that we're giving that to babies and children, and we put it in their formula and get them hooked and addicted from a young age. It is literally and precisely exactly the definition of an addiction. And you need to think twice if you're thinking that. Life is too short that I'm willing to do that. And there's people out there, I know someone in particular, he'd rather have birthday cake and Pepsi than his foot. Had half of his foot amputated. There's people out there that are willing to say, yeah, if I die of cancer, that's fine because I am that addicted to my sugar and my junk food. What a horrible, sad thing. Think of it. You think I'm exaggerating? You could probably think of individuals and people just like that. I know of many. Or they'll try to convince themselves, oh, maybe I'll be one of the lucky ones and I won't get cancer. Maybe I'll make it to 80 years old. It's such a joke. By every scientific measure, we should be living to be 120 years old. People are happy if they make it to 80. And they're not even living making it to that 80. So I guess if we sum this up, it's such a beautiful day out here. Thankful, grateful, blessed. If we sum this up, Carnivore Crossroads, you got to have a powerful why. But you got to understand too, and do more research if you don't believe me. Research with this man, Professor Seifried. He should win a Nobel Prize for the work he's done in cancer research. Cancer is caused by chronic inflammation. You can get that from smoking. You can get that from coming in contact with toxins and chemicals. But most people get that from eating highly inflammatory foods that they weren't intended to eat for years and years and decades. It causes mitochondrial misfunction and they get cancer. It's from chronic inflammation from the foods we're eating. So if you're choosing to eat the proper human diet, or you're choosing the other route, if you're choosing the other route, chronic inflammation, you're going to get cancer, you're going to get Alzheimer's, you're going to get those. You need to make the decision in your head. Do I want to die young? Am I okay getting cancer? And is all of that worth it for some temporary mouth pleasure to appease this addiction to sugar and junk food? And you need to really just kind of reevaluate your life and think, is that really what life is about for me? And the only joy I can get, where did I get to this place in the world where the only joy I can get is from doing this drug called sugar that we've normalized? Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that doesn't stress you guys out too much. But that's how I think about it. It's literally not a question in my mind. When I hear other people saying, do you cheat sometimes? And then they're like, oh, Mr. Goody Two-Shoes over there doesn't cheat. Well, I'm sorry, but the truth matters, and the truth for me is we all have different life experiences. I was in the deepest of deep. I was in the darkest of dark. I was in the most hopeless of hopelessness. It couldn't have got any worse. It's only by the grace of God I'm still alive. And I'm a man. I can suck it up and go on with things. That's me. But what about my children and my family and my loved ones that had to go through that for years and years and years? That is unacceptable to me. And that was all powered and driven by an addiction to processed garbage, sugar food that was causing inflammation and wreaking havoc on my entire body. So of course, I'm not going to tinker with any of that. The crossroads for me, it's not even a question. I have one road and I have one path, and that is the path towards the proper human diet and eating what is natural and behaving like a proper human. And I am never looking back, turning back, or even acknowledging that there's another road out there. My life is 1,000,000 times better. And so many of you out there, it's such a shame because you're never going to do it, and you're never going to feel what it feels like to be a proper human, with no inflammation and no brain fog and no aches and pains and ailments and depression, this constant anxiety. I see it throughout the world. It is so sad. Every single day, people just in this constant state of anxiousness, taking years and decades off of their life. Their blood pressure's through the roof, like there's a bear running after me in the woods right now. Oh no, better run out. I'm so anxious about nothing. Anxious about this, anxious about that. I have no anxiety. If a bear started chasing after me, I'd get a little anxiety, my adrenaline would start running. That's the purpose of it, not having that every single day of our lives. Why is it happening? Because humans have escaped from what is natural. So let's wrap this up. I'm going to start rambling. If you're on the Carnivore Crossroads, you need to have a powerful why, but you need to understand what that decision entails. It isn't all in the here and the now. It's amazing what carnivore's done for me in such a short time. Stopping snoring, my depression, anxiety lifting, all of these things happening so quickly, but don't think about those things. Those are amazing blessings. Think about your future. Think about aging. Think about 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now. It changes everything forever. And if that isn't a powerful enough why for you, then I don't think you've thought about it enough. And if you think that some of the claims I'm making are outrageous, like poor metabolic health causing cancer, do more research. Just go do more research. It's all out there. Professor Seafried has done incredible work in this area. He's screaming about it and nobody's listening. And why? For the same reason everyone's worried about meat clogging your arteries and all this misinformation and everything being backwards in the world. The only narrative that everyone believes in that becomes these social norms and that are ingrained in your brains just so happen, coincidentally, to be the narratives that also make companies billions and billions of dollars. Having proper metabolic health costs these companies billions and billions of dollars. Being healthy, there's no money to be made. There's no studies. There's nobody supporting it. There's nobody in your ear telling you, just fix your metabolic health. And so you're worried about cholesterol and you're worried about clogging your arteries and what about fiber and all this crap. And just coincidentally, everything you're worried about happens to lead you right back to sugar and processed junk food. The last thing I'm going to say on this is for people that are scared of starting this, like I said earlier, you should be absolutely terrified of whatever you've been doing that got you to this point of doing carnivore. Chronic inflammation should be the scariest thing in the world. That is the truth. Nobody's scared about it. Everyone in the world is worried about poor cholesterol and can't eat meat. It's going to clog your arteries. What's your LDL? What are these numbers? They should be worried about chronic inflammation. Causes diabetes, cancer, heart disease, strokes, dementia, Alzheimer's. Nobody cares. There's studies on it. You're 6 times more likely to have a heart attack if you had poor metabolic health. And now let me ask you this. This is what we're going to end on right here. How many people do you know that have died young? How many people have you lost to heart disease? How many people can you think of that you've lost to cancer? Now ask yourself this. What were they eating? Were they eating the proper human diet like me? No, nobody was doing that. They were eating like you're eating. So all these people that are like, I'm so scared to start carnivore. You're eating the junk food that all your loved ones you know that you've lost at a young age, they were eating just like you. They weren't eating a proper human diet. They weren't eating natural ingredients. They died at a young age and they were eating like you were eating. So why are you so scared of what I'm doing? You should be scared and terrified of whatever those loved ones were eating, which is probably and precisely what you're eating and what you're doing. Carnivore Crossroads, in conclusion, do your research, have your why, and consider that the alternative is an addiction that we've normalized. And is that something you're comfortable doing for the rest of your life, albeit probably a much shorter life? And are you willing to take and accept a shorter life in return for some ice cream and some junk food? I get my joy and my pleasure and my happiness from my family, from my friends, from my hobbies, from helping other people, from doing this documentary, and from living my life to the fullest potential as a human being. I don't need a cupcake to do that. Life is so much better this way. And the last thing I will close on is, if you're just thinking about doing this, don't say, I'm going to be a carnivore for the rest of my life. I'm going to eat proper human diet for the rest of my life. Just try for 30 days. 60 days is better. Commit to 60 days and just see how you feel. At least give yourself the opportunity to feel like a proper human for the first time in your life, to fulfill your potential as a proper human. Because my goodness, you're going to close your eyes like this, just a little blink, open them back up, and God willing, if you make it, maybe you'll be 75 years old at whatever food you're eating at this point. I'm probably going to be 120. But maybe if you make it to 70 years old, maybe 80, and you're an old person and you're in your bed and you're on your deathbed, that life it's gonna just fly by. It's gonna seem like 2 seconds. And you're gonna think back and you're gonna remember this crazy guy told you. I tried to warn you, I tried to help you. You wanna close your eyes and open them up and you wanna be 80 years old, 90 years old on your deathbed, realizing you've never truly experienced what it's like to feel like a proper human being. What a shame. Such a shame. And so many people in the world, that's gonna be the result. They're never gonna know what it's like to feel like a proper human. Proper human that can do pull-ups. I haven't done any pull-ups in a long time. I'm gonna end this video. I gotta do some pull-ups quick. I haven't done any pull-ups in a long time. It's finally nice out again. See if you still got it. See if you still got it. Oh, it's so beautiful out. Proper human. I gotta work on that. I'm getting weaker. It was harder. I was doing 3-4 times that before. It's been a while. It's been a long winter. So anyway, if you're at a Carnivore Crossroads, I hope that video helped you out. Hey, if you want to learn more, we're doing a documentary, Healing Humanity, the Power of a Proper Human Diet. Learn more at healinghumanity.movie. And if you can donate and support our documentary, we're following real people over the course of a year doing a proper human diet like me. Bill Knott, Maggie, Jeff DeProsperous. If you'd like to donate, please visit donate.healinghumanity.movie. Donate.healinghumanity.movie. And if you want to get our shirts, we have Compassionate Carnivore t-shirts as well. We have Redmond salt shakers. All of those are available at the website. Every penny we get goes towards the documentary. And the last thing is real quick. If you join my YouTube channel, there's a little join button below. You get members only content. When we filmed Dr. Ken Berry, we just filmed Dr. Ken Berry 2-3 weeks ago. I did behind the scenes members only content. We do a weekly members only live stream. Members have access to me directly. Every penny from those memberships, they start at just $3 a month. Every penny goes to support our documentary. We got a lot more people to film. Our aim is to get this on Angel Studios and show it on the big screen. And I'm not gonna stop until we reach millions of people. What was that, 22 minutes? One cut, no edits, gotta go beep.